Okay, good evening everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Habayim. This is the Friday share on Thursday night. Tomorrow, I have the great zechus to go to the City of Champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm speaking in Pittsburgh this Shabbos, and I didn't want to miss Pesacheinu Megadim. So here we go. We have actually a tall order today because it's a double parsha, plus we have to connect the beginning and the end of Sefer Vayikra. So today, Hashem was merachim ami. He gave me a matana toiva gedola min hashamayim she'en kamayu, connecting the beginning and the end of Sefer Vayikra. Here we go. Sefer Vayikra. There is a kesher noira. There is an awesome connection between the beginning of Sefer Vayikra and the end of the Sefer Vayikra. It's mamish ein oimer ve'ein devarim. It's a matana min hashamayim. I even wrote v'yesh kesher noira bein tchilas v'soif hasefer matana min hashamayim. Okay, the Megadim teaches us that Sefer Vayikra begins with a small aleph. What is the significance of that? The Megadim says the numerical value of the word aleph zeira. Aleph zeira. Those two words, aleph zeira, equal 399, which is the gematria of Rabbi Akiva. Aleph Zeira, Aleph Lamed Pei, Zayin Ayin Yud Reish Aleph is gematria Rabbi Akiva, 399. The other letters, Vayikra, is also a reference to Rabbi Akiva, because Chazal say about Rabbi Akiva, Kol Yakar Ra'asa Einai. Kol Yakar Ra'asa Einai is Rabbi Akiva. Now, amazingly, we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was shown the Torah of Rabbi Akiva, and he couldn't even understand it. He was behind 18 rows. He was on the 18th row. The Megadim says the 18th row, the 18 rows, are the 18 times it says in the end of Pekudei, right before Vayikra, Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe. Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe. Those are the 18 rows that that Moshe had to sit on the 18th row to listen to Rabbi Akiva's shir. Now listen to this. So that means the very beginning of Vayikra begins Rabbi Akiva. Wow, that's an interesting beginning. Do you know how Vayikra ends? The end of Vayikra ends somewhat innocently. V'chal masar bakar v'tzayin. Any tithe of cattle or sheep, Kol asher yavar tachas hashavet, whatever passes under the rod, ha'asiri yeh kodesh l'Hashem, the 10th should be holy to God. The 10th should be holy to God. So simply the pasuk is talking about meiser. It's talking about meiser. You have a bunch of sheep, you have a bunch of cattle. The 10th one, regardless if it's a tamim or a mum, it's kodesh l'Hashem. Says Rav Shamshin of Ashtrapol, the Mekubal Ho'eloiki. He says this pasuk is a remez to the Asara Harugei Malchus. Now we know the Asara Harugei Malchus were in lieu of the 10 Shvatim that were involved in selling Yosef. The problem is only 9 Shvatim were involved in selling Yosef. Yosef didn't sell himself. Binyamin wasn't there. And Reuven wasn't there that day. So you only have 9. So who's the 10th? The 10th was the Shechina. The Shechina is the 10th. Okay. Now we know the 10 Asara Harugei Malchus were in lieu of those who sold Yosef. So 9 of the Tanoim were in lieu of the Shvatim. But who is the 10th one in lieu of? The 10th one is in lieu of the Shechina. Who could take the place of the Shechina? Only the Holy One, Rabbi Akiva. Says the pasuk, Oyoy Menorah, V'chol Masar, Bakar V'tzoin, the Asara Harugei Malchus. You know who they are? Koil Asher Yavar Tachas Hashavet. They're in lieu of the Shvatim. But what about the 10th one? Ho'asiri, the 10th one. Yeh Kodesh Hashem is in the place of Hashem. That's Rabbi Akiva. So isn't it Oyoy Menorah? The Sefer begins with an Aleph Zeira, Gematria Rabbi Akiva, and it ends Ha'asiri, Yeh Kodesh Lashem, Rabbi Akiva. Now, says Rav Shamshin of Ashapal, Which Tana was able to darshan as Hashem leikecha tira l'rabbis talmidei chachamim? That there's someone else to fear other than God. You have to fear Torah scholars. Who darshan that? Rabbi Akiva. Why Rabbi Akiva? Because Rabbi Akiva knew that Torah scholars were on par with God. How did he know? Because he took the place of the Shechina. Says Rav Shamshin of Ashtabal, because he took the place of the Shechina, he realized that Talmidei Chachamim are Hushva Mayram LeMayra Shechina. He has a long arichos to explain this pasuk, that on the pasuk v'chamasar bakar v'tzon kasher yaver tachas hashavat asiri yia kodesh l'Hashem. The Gemara says that yatzasa bas kol v'amra ashrech Rabbi Akiva sheyatzasa nishmascha be'echad. Question: what does it mean masar? Before they go under the rod, it's not called maisar. It should say v'chol bakar v'tzayin. Number two, what do you mean kol sheyaver tachas hashavet? Not every cattle goes under the shavet. Only the 10th one is hit with the rod that makes it red. What does it mean? Ha'asiri yiyah kodesh. Why kodesh l'Hashem? And Reb Shamshon Ashapal goes on to say that the Asar Erugei Malchus are a Tmura for the Asar Hashvatim because they stole and sold Yosef and they caused pain to Yaakov and their Chayiv Misa. The question is, but by Mechiras Yosef there are only 9 Shvatim because Yosef himself wasn't there. Binyamin was young. Ruvain was not there because he was serving his father. So there are only 9. However, the answer is the Echad, the 10th one, is instead of the Shechina, because they were mitzaref the Shechina, and the Shechina left Yaakov Avinu until Yosef returned to him, and nobody ever told Yaakov. It's like the Shechina was in on it. We know Rabbi Akiva was the Tmura of the Shechina. Why? First of all, he was Ben Gerim, which is Malchus, which is the Midah of Malchus. That's a Kabbalistic idea. And because Rabbi Akiva darshan das Hashem leikecha tira the rabbis Talmidei Chachamim, he's the only one who then could be equivalent to the Shechina. Rabbi Akiva was the shepherd, he's the Raya. V'chol masar bakar v'tzayin. By the way, the words v'chol masar bakar v'tzayin are v'yadu kulam lama meis Akiva shahaya roya bakar v'tzayin. The Rashi Tevos of those words is everyone knows why Rabbi Akiva, who the shepherd, died. Why? Because the truth is, Kalashar Yavar, anyone who died from the Sarugei Malchus is Tachas Hashavet, was in lieu of one of the Shvatim. But Ha'asiri, but one of them was Kodesh L'Hashem. That which the Tzaddik died, Rabbi Akiva, he was Kodesh L'Hashem. Anyway, it comes out that Sefer Vayikra is Paiseach and Choisem with Rabbi Akiva. So now it comes out that the book of Vayikra is the book of Rabbi Akiva. So then probably the subject matter of Vayikra would be thematic to the life of Rabbi Akiva. We know that the day of Rabbi Akiva, what day was Rabbi Akiva killed? Yom Kippur, yeah? So probably, if there's any Sefer in the Torah that talks about Yom Kippur, it would probably be in Vayikra. What do you know? Parshas Achrei Mos, which is about Yom Kippur. It's in Vayikra. What other parsha talks about Yom Kippur? Emor also talks about Yom Kippur. It's in Vayikra. What else do we know about Rabbi Akiva? His students died during the Yimei Sfira. What parsha talks about Sfira? Emor. All the parshios that are relevant to the life of Rabbi Akiva are in Sefer Vayikra. Anyway, therefore, the Parshas Vayikra, Sefer Vayikra, the Pesachim of Vayikra, the beginning and the end is about the great Tana Rabbi Akiva. Here's one more on Sefer Vayikra. My friend Rabbi Fal Ansel of France brought this to my attention. Of course, we know the Baal HaTurim says the reason why the Aleph of Vayikra is small is to denote the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu. He didn't want to write Vayikra. Instead, he wanted to write Vayikar, like the way Hashem chanced upon Bilam in his humility. He didn't want to write explicitly that Hashem established a conversation with him. So he wanted to write Vayikar. Hashem said, no, you got to write Vayikra. Moshe said, at least let me write the Aleph small. So the small Aleph denotes, the Baal HaTurim says, the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu. And how does Sefer Vayikra end? It ends, Eila HaMitzvah Asher Tzivah Hashem es Moshe el Bnei Yisrael Bahar Sinai. Why did Hashem give the Torah on Har Sinai. We all know the Gemara says, why did Hashem choose Har Sinai? Because of Har Sinai's humility. In fact, Moshe Rabbeinu learnt humility from Har Sinai. That's why it says in Perkei Avos, Moshe kibel Torah mi Sinai. Moshe received the Torah machmas Sinai. The Tosfos Chadashim says because of Sinai, because of the lesson he learned from Sinai. So the bookends of Sefer Vayikra are the small aleph, the humility of Moshe, and the humility of Har Sinai. So that is a very appropriate beginning and end, and that is the Pesacheinu Megadim on Sefer Vayikra. Okay, that's our first offering for tonight.